Hello, Grand Strand. This is Richard Florzak, private chef to the stars, and welcome back to Talking About Food. Remember, it's the only food commentary show on the Grand Strand. We talk about food trucks, festivals, farmers markets, restaurants, interview local chefs, local restaurant owners. Time to time, I have some of my celebrity friends on, but like I always say, whether celebrity or not, the topic will always be food. Nothing brings people together like great food. And speaking of great food and bringing people together, I have back on the show today Julie and Michael Steinberg of Bohemian Bull in Murrells Inlet. They were on episode 20 back in March when they had just opened, and they had a lot of expectations about the business, and I was pulling for them, and I told them I would have them back on in a few months because I want to know what has transpired. So Julie and Michael, welcome back to Talking About Food.
Thank you.
So since March, I remember you were talking about a number of different things that you wanted to do. One of them was the beer garden. How is that coming along?
It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It's taken on shape and form, and we got some games out there.
So it's already in use. How long has it been in use?
We had the ribbon cutting. What was that?
April.
Yeah,
Beginning
with the
of April.
Chamber of Commerce. Yeah.
Wow. So that was only a month after you were here the last time. So has the outdoor beer garden area become popular? I mean, is it a popular place when people walk into the restaurant, they say, "Oh, hey, let's sit out there"?
Not this past week.
The because
heat wave.
like 400 degrees.
But normally, yes, especially as the day goes on and, the sun starts setting, it definitely becomes a popular playground for the adults and kids. We have Jenga out there. We have cornhole. We have a Connect Four game.
And that's those things are out there all the time?
Yes.
Oh, very, very cool.
Yeah.
And same menu out there?
Yep.
What about like drinks, beer, all the same?
Everything you can get indoors, you can get out on the beer garden.
Now, I remember the last time, Michael, you were talking about some of the contractors that you had to deal with building that. You ended up pulling it off.
Yeah.
It's
beautiful.
We used all local people helped us.
I remember that.
That was pretty cool. A lot of these local businesses that helped us open still comes in every week to enjoy Bohemian Bull.
Yeah.
We did a lot of it ourselves as well.
The planters I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
Planters looks
In
very
our
cool.
herb garden, we have we grow our own herbs that we use
In the kitchen?
in the kitchen and at the bar.
That is absolutely amazing. Not that restaurants don't do that, but your style of restaurant, family, community kind of thing, I didn't necessarily suspect that, but that's very impressive.
We've been very blessed with the support from the community.
Yeah.
Like the planters. I've used a local resident from Myrtle Inlet just down the road from us, retired. He does it as a hobby, the woodwork. Actually approached us and asked if he can make the planters for us.
Wow. You know what that is? It's living in the South.
That's right.
That's what happens.
It's good people here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And-
Hearts of gold.
Yeah, so my bartender decided to throw our names in the hat for the Night of Champions.
What is the Night of Champions?
It was a event to bring awareness to autism.
Oh, that's very noble. That's great.
Yeah, it's they do it every year, and I would say about 15 restaurants competed that evening. I didn't count them, but it was about 15.
It was a lot. It was a good handful. It was a great group of people.
And I think about 150 tickets were sold, and people buy tickets and they sample all the food. And
then they vote.
And then they vote on what food they enjoyed.
And drink.
So we did a mixed drink offer, and then a one menu item. And, first time there was...
So it was your bartender that enrolled you in this? Did you know that the person, is it a he or she?
It's a she.
She enrolled you in this and you didn't know about it?
No, she enrolled us into it, and then later in the evening mentioned that, hey, by the way, we're going to take part in this mixology competition, and there's a food item that we need to prepare as well.
Right.
So
you were happy to do it.
We're obviously happy to do it. We knew in the restaurant community and thought it was a great way just to meet other restaurant owners and other businesses.
Yeah, we were glad she did it.
So now I'm on the edge of my seat. What are the results? What happened?
So we ended up winning the menu item.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the item?
We chose our barbecue sandwich with our mayo sauce.
Yeah.
And then we created a mixed drink, was a Bite the Bullet.
What's in that?
It's bullet bourbon.
Yeah.
Some citrus, and then a honey
infused thyme-infused tea.
Oh, wow.
And
that's what won it.
People started drinking and came back for second and third.
Wow.
and we sort of looked at it and thought, like, we're probably going to win the mixologist part of this competition. Never, ever thought that we have a shot at the menu item.
Well, because there were great restaurants out there serving up some really great food.
I'll bet. Yeah.
Yeah, there were some really good food items out there. Crab cakes, short ribs on risottos. 2 bakeries out there with fresh breads and desserts. There was some stiff competition out there.
Yeah, but you pulled it off.
And when at the end of the night, when they called our name out for the menu item, I got
that is
what?
So great.
That was such a cool experience.
And we have the plaques in the entry of the restaurant.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I love the section of your website of upcoming events. Can you tell the listeners about them? Because it's very, very interesting stuff.
So we just started Team Trivia. It is every Tuesday. Starts at 6:30. And then we have a farmer's craft market.
Can I stop you for a second?
Sure.
Can you? I've never been to a trivia night. So how does that work actually?
It is with a gentleman called Mike Smith. He's great.
So he's like the MC.
Yes, he is. And he sets up, and they have these cards they can write their answers on, and some of our TVs are used for the questions so everybody can see them. And then he will play music in between after reading the question to give you time, kind of like a Jeopardy kind of thing.
Right. And
they'll turn in their answers. And then at the end of I think it's 3 rounds, they get either a $50, $25, or a $10 gift card to the restaurant.
To Bohemian Bull.
Yeah.
Is there an entry fee?
No.
It's free?
Yeah.
So you can go there on Tuesday evenings for trivia night, not pay a dime, become involved and well, first of all, it's fun, right?
Absolutely.
Especially if you
It
have an MC like you were saying, he's as good as you say he is, and come away winning something. Very cool.
It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's a good time.
Yeah. What about Wednesdays?
Wednesdays is half price burger day.
Busy?
Very busy. Very busy. At the minimum, we have about 500 people come through our doors.
Wow. 500 people.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's got to be good burgers, though.
It is.
You're not going to get 500 people to come in and get a burger. I don't care if it's 10% of what it normally costs.
I think we have good burgers. It's kind of like talking about your children, Of course you love your kids.
Yeah.
I love our burgers.
Well, I'll take it a step further. I've had your burgers, and it's certainly well worth the full price for that burger. And that's on Wednesdays. Half price burgers on Wednesdays.
So on Thursdays, we have $3 draft beers, and of course our happy hour from 4 to 7 is our $8 appetizers, but it's called Thirsty Thursdays. $3 select draft beers.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, 4 to 6 p.m.
Wow, that's a great buy. How many different beers do you have there, approximately?
39 beers on tap.
All craft.
All craft.
All craft.
That's not including the
And
domestics.
Wow.
Little side note.
Yeah.
Brand new to our draft beer,
Uh-huh.
Boho Brew, created for us by Grand Strand Brewery.
No way.
We're the only Bohemian Bull that has it.
Boho
Brew.
Brew. How
It's,
cool.
it's
Is
a
it
light
good?
lager.
Yep.
It is good.
It is really, it's been well received.
Yeah. Oh, that's terrific. What happens on Friday, guys?
So Fridays is very exciting for me. We launch our new bourbon flight every Friday. So I started a journey through the world of bourbons,
Yeah.
and we decided that there's so many bourbons out there, and we know so little of it. So every Friday we set out 3 new bourbons.
Yeah.
With some homemade South African beef jerky.
Yeah. Wow.
and-
Wait, hold on a second. I got to zero in on that. How did that come into play? First of all, let's back up a second. Bourbon flights.
Every Friday, 3 bourbons are selected, and it goes through until the next Friday, and then that.
Right. That
Turns
that
into-
flight
yeah.
will continue
Correct.
all the way through the week. So you create this 3 bourbon flight each week. It'll carry through the whole week until the next Friday when you take those off and add 3 more. Do you mind if I ask how much does that flight cost?
The flights currently right now is $12 a flight.
I don't know if it's just because you guys are so tuned in to the area to make things affordable, but coming from Los Angeles, I'm thinking you're going to be saying it's like $75 or something like that. It's $12.
No, so
You get 3 1-ounce pours and beef jerky that my husband makes.
That hold on, because I'm going to get into that. That's 3 shots
Yes.
of bourbon
that's right.
for $12.
Yes.
That's unbelievable. When you said that you had this beef jerky, explain that.
So I'm originally from South Africa, and we cure our own meat. It's called biltong and droewors. So it's nothing artificial. Use our own casings, use our own grind meat that we use same for the burgers, and then a couple of spices, and then we air dry it. Takes us about 4 days to air dry it,
Yeah.
and then you end up with this delicious piece of cured meat.
Yeah.
And it's a traditional South African snack.
Yeah.
It is extremely lean and healthy as well.
Yeah.
A lot
After your 3 shots of bourbon.
after the 3. So the reason I went with that is to introduce a little bit of myself into
Cool.
the business.
Yeah, excellent idea.
And second of the meat and the fat content in the meat coats your mouth,
Yeah.
so you can appreciate the aromas of the bourbon a little bit
Nice.
better.
Yeah, so this is
know?
thought through. You didn't just throw this on the menu.
No, it's thought through. So my palate developed over the years, and I started falling in love with whiskeys and bourbon.
Yeah.
And then soon realized that there's so much bourbon out there, and there's a history, such a rich history behind bourbon
Yeah.
and all the different kinds of bourbon that's available in America, in Kentucky and Tennessee and so on.
Yeah.
So we started a flight.
Has it been popular?
It has.
Yeah.
It has. It's,
Have people told you how they feel about the beef jerky?
I can't make enough of it.
Yeah,
Is that
they
right? I love these
say
stories.
to bag it and sell it at
Yeah.
the entrance, and
Wow.
yeah, that's been well received.
Any other special days of the week?
I would like to think every day is special at Bohemian Bull, but
Michael, that is the best answer. I threw that out hoping you would bite on that. But I mean, any as far as the events that happen
Live music every Friday, Saturday from
Live.
6 to 9.
on Friday and Saturday. Who do you have that has played there?
An array of people. They're all from here, South Carolina,
Locals,
local Myrtle
yeah.
Beach, area. So
Very cool.
it's always posted on our Facebook, Instagram, and then Myrtle Live always does a shout out for us.
Oh, that's cool.
we did start
Yeah.
at brunch Saturdays and Sundays,
Yeah.
starting at 10. So, and I would say our Sunday brunch has been picking up pretty well.
So you have
Yeah.
a Saturday and Sunday brunch.
It's 10 to 3.
Having been a restaurant owner for 9 years, it was very interesting to me to speak with you because you guys had just opened when you were on the last time, and to see some of the trials and tribulations that you've gone through. And we were having this conversation about finding not just good, but finding employees, period. It's been difficult for you, hasn't it?
It has. And I would say in pretty much every department, from servers to cooks to management staff, probably been one of our biggest challenges is finding people that's willing to put in, that wants to work and willing to put in the hours. Secondly is to keep them. It seems like the trend in Myrtle Beach is jumping between restaurants quite a bit. Seems to be a thing. Seasonal workers.
Yeah.
Seems to be huge in Myrtle Beach. So I can imagine going through the year, it's gonna be one of the hurdles that we constantly gonna have to overcome as the seasons goes by.
Yeah.
I know about 4 of our servers as well as some of our bartenders. As soon as summer's over, they're gonna go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have to look for more staff again.
What part of the industry would you say you have to replace the most? Is it servers, bartenders, management?
Kitchen staff, believe it or not.
Kitchen staff, yeah.
Mm.
What do you attribute that to?
Work ethic.
You ever lose your temper in the kitchen?
No, we have a policy in our kitchen that there's no screaming, no cussing, no belittling. Belittling.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you need to start screaming at them and calling them all kinds of names.
Yeah, we've line cooks seems to be a little temperamental.
They usually are. Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not from this industry, so we're learning as well as we grow this business and this restaurant. But line cooks seem to be a little temperamental. It's not a hard job, to learn, but it is a physically demanding job.
Yeah.
Well, it gets hot in the kitchen too.
But
it's not like the people don't know it going
right.
in,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm a person that likes to be busy, so I can't wait for that busy hour.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be the theme throughout.
No, the slow time in the restaurant is really the most difficult. It's when the most mistakes are made, and it's always difficult to teach the staff to stay 2 to 3 steps ahead of the game. All of a sudden, it's slow and everybody sits down. That is the time to get yourself backed up with everything that may happen in the next couple hours. How do you hire people? Like through Indeed or Facebook or?
We
both.
Yeah, we rely heavily on our website. You can go onto our website, Bohemian Bull, Murrells Inlet, and join the team. We get a lot of applications through that. I do go on Indeed every couple of months and put an ad out for that. Funny thing is, we seem to get a lot of applications.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start reaching out to them, it's incredibly hard to get in touch with these people, which is a pity, of course. The staff that we have right now, we have a core group that enjoys working there, that's been there for 5 months, and they absolutely enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that core group constantly has to train. We rely on them to train as we replace and bring new staff in.
Right. What I found over the years is if you develop that tight-knit group and you need more employees, is to try to hire through them. Because what I have found in my restaurant is when a friend refers another friend, not only do they have to impress the business owner, they've got a relationship to keep with that friend. And they tend to work harder because of that. They don't want to lose the respect of the restaurant, obviously, but they also don't want to lose the respect of the friend. Overall, you guys doing well?
I think so. I love being there.
That was going to be my next question. You still love going there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Michael, you were telling me before we went on the air that you left your other position to work full time at the restaurant. Was that a good move? Are you enjoying it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I leave, I say, I want to go back. There's a stigma about restaurants and success within the first year, and how many restaurants makes it through the first, second, and third year. So there's a lot riding on this for us. We felt after we had a conversation, and we just felt like we need to be involved
Yeah.
to give us a better chance of success.
Yeah.
We didn't want to put our hopes of success in somebody else's hands.
It's one of the main reasons why restaurants are successful or not is whether the owners can be present. And they are, folks. They are present at Bohemian Bull in Murrells Inlet. Owners Julie and Michael Steinberg. Look, folks, I've been there a number of times. These people are driven. They were on, 4 or 5 months ago when they first opened, and they had a dream, and all of those dreams are being fulfilled. They now have the outdoor area called the Beer Garden, which is thriving out there. They have these great nights. Tuesday night is trivia night. You don't have to pay a cent to be part of the trivia night, and you can walk away winners of gift cards. Wednesday, half-priced burger. I mean, the Grand Strand is built up of thousands of burger lovers, and I've had their burgers. They're terrific. As a matter of fact, my buddy Jack Gregory, I think he was there not too long ago. He loves the burger there. But imagine, Wednesday, half price, 39 craft beers, one of them called Boho Brew, created specifically for this restaurant. They have Thirsty Thursdays, $3 draft beers. You can't go wrong there. Bourbon Flights, 3 1-ounce servings of bourbon. That's on Friday night. On Saturday and Sunday, they have brunch from 10 to 3. Can't miss this one, folks. It's a neighborhood place. The owners are sitting here with me in the studio for the second time, and there's a reason for that. If I didn't like them, they wouldn't be here. But I tend to like most people that come in. You guys are destined to be super successful, and I know that because your food is good, but you're also good, decent people. And I love having you on the show. Julie and Michael Steinberg of Bohemian Bull. You got to check it out. It's in Murrells Inlet, 2859 US 17 Business, and their food's good. Sounds like their bourbon's good, and I'm certainly convinced that the South African jerky is good, but I know their burgers. It's good. It's a good place. It's a real family place, very inviting. Check it out. And when you do, tell them the private chef to the stars sent you. And coming up after the break, we have in studio Flavio Medeiros of The Scoop on Myrtle. He's been in before, but he's going to tell us all about his trek, his journey to find some of the best Philly cheesesteaks in the Grand Strand. Man, I wish I was along for that ride. Stick around. We're going to talk to him after the break. Welcome back to Talking About Food. Remember, folks, it's the only food commentary show on the Grand Strand. And speaking of the Grand Strand, great guest in the studio. He's been here before. I just love this guy. He is Flavio Medeiros, owner of The Scoop on Myrtle Facebook page. Flavio, welcome back to Talking About Food.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Rich. Thanks for having me back. It's always a pleasure talking about food.
You just can't go wrong.
No, not at all.
You know, a lot of people say, not a lot of people say, I mean, it has been around for centuries, sharing a drink together, having a beer, having a glass of wine. I think that food trumps that by a mile.
Yeah, breaking bread, right?
Yeah. Breaking bread, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just love it. You could probably stop wars with that. Anyway, so you've been on before. Just give a recap for the listeners the 2 million listeners who didn't hear you the first time. Tell us all about The Scoop on Myrtle.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So about 4 years ago when I moved here, that's when I obviously, like everyone else, new here and really wanted to meet as many people as I can, and especially other businesses and things like that. So about 2 years ago, just under, is when I began Scoop on Myrtle. I really wasn't sure where I was going with it, but I thought, how cool would it be to create this Facebook page and try to get some community going and just share some good news, good vibes. I think the news do a good enough job of sharing all the murders and everything. And I was like, well, don't want to do that, but I want to, I want to share like business stuff and good things going on in the community.
So it's even though you're here to talk specifically about food, it is by no means a food website.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So basically there's 2 parts to it, the social media channels, and people can subscribe to the actual newsletter, which goes out every Sunday evening, and it basically gives people a whole bunch of highlights of live music for that week. It also gives them any events happening that week, and again, like any news and things like that. But like I said on the other show that I was here, primarily a really big percentage of a lot of content I share is food. To your point, everyone likes food, and it brings people together. And that's what we have the most conversations around on there, I find.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you just made me think about something. You're talking about the entertainment scene at first. And this is a fantastic Facebook site for people who don't live here but vacation here.
That's true too. Yeah. So there's, right now about 36,000 followers.
Wow,
and
that's great.
A good percentage of those, I would say, are definitely tourists as well.
Yeah.
And I can tell by the comments when they say, hey, I can't wait to come visit and try this place, right? So that's kind of like my clue of like, oh, this person doesn't live here.
Yeah.
They're just following the page. So when they do vacation here often, probably they can kind of be in the know of what's new and things like that.
Can you explain to this social media illiterate how you would target people from outside the area that might be vacationing here?
I don't know that I have targeted them.
It happens organically?
Yeah, I think they've just found it. I think they're just like, being someone who used to vacation here too before moving, I think they just like, hey, I'm going to be going to visit Myrtle Beach. Let me kind of see what's going on.
And then your site will pop up.
Exactly.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
My dear friend, Jack Gregory, who has the site Murrells Inlet Entertainment and Foodies, he invited me out to lunch a couple weeks ago, and a couple joined us that were fans of his page.
Nice.
That were from the Midwest. They came here to visit because of my friend Jack's Facebook page.
Yeah, so that's got to be a great feeling, like, right? Like
without a doubt.
Like see somebody out in the wild that's a fan. That's kind of like a celebrity type moment, right?
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And it just goes to show how there is such an outreach of Facebook and Facebook followers. So your site is obviously growing. You got 36,000 followers. So let's get into food. What, in your opinion, is trending on the food scene in the Grand Strand?
From what I have seen recently, I think that you actually had, I forget the gentleman's name, but he's a chef from HGTC and kind of
it's Chef Joe Bonaparte.
Yeah. So I agree with what he was saying, that there's a really big influx of a lot of ethnic restaurants.
I love that.
Definitely seeing a lot of those, whether it's Greek and Thai and Japanese. There's a whole bunch out there. But I think that's a good thing because
absolutely.
Yeah, with everyone moving here to Myrtle Beach and it being a big melting pot, we need a lot of different types of restaurants to support the different types of people.
I was talking to a developer one time in Los Angeles, and they said that the number one thing that will change specific areas of a city, that isn't doing well into a thriving community, the very first thing is restaurants start to move in. And it's usually, he didn't say this part, I know this from experience, what'll happen is chefs that have been working in, we'll just say, high-end restaurants under a chef with a big name, and the underling wants to move out on his own, and they seek out these areas that the rent is cheap, there's hardly any foot traffic, and they'll go in, and then another restaurant will follow.
Like get into the ground floor and really,
exactly, and it's how it becomes gentrified. So that's a cool thing. So you agree with Chef Bonaparte that a lot of ethnic stuff popping up?
There is, and it's given us really a lot of good options, because I think for the most part, there's a lot of like the I don't know, American bar and grill type scene around here. You know, you can go anywhere and get bar and grill type American food, and some places do it better than others, as we know. But it is nice to see all these different types of food popping up as well.
Yeah. So recently, you've been on the hunt for a specific sandwich. Tell the listeners what that is.
Yeah. So cheesesteak. It's one of my guilty pleasures. Is a Philly cheesesteak.
Why do you think that is? Why is that particular sandwich a guilty pleasure for you? I know why it is for me, but you tell me.
Yeah. So I think I like, the combination of things in it, the steak and the cheese, right? The same reason we like burgers and all that. But it's just not as filling to me as a burger. In other words, it doesn't leave you like, oh man, I'm so full, I need to take a nap now.
I never thought about that, but that's a good point.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a good alternative for me, if you will.
Except if you eat 4, like I would.
Or a big one, if they're, do you want the 12-inch or, so
or you want the oh my Jesus size.
Yeah, so that's different too. But no, I've always really enjoyed it. I'm not from Philly, just someone who really enjoys that sandwich.
Yeah, well, we're not from Italy and we love pizza, so...
There you go.
So tell us about the hunt. How did it come about? What has transpired in your journey for the best cheesesteak in the Grand Strand?
Yeah, sure. So basically what I did was I posted on the page that I was going to do this, and I wanted to get as many ideas as I could. So I'm like, hey, I'm looking for the best cheesesteak. What ideas do you guys have?
And let me cut you off just for a second. Are you familiar or did you follow the sort of what they consider authentic from Philly? What do you know about the background of, the original cheesesteak?
Yeah. So, and that's funny you say that, because when I posted this, all of a sudden everyone is, all the cheesesteak gurus came out that are from Philadelphia. And basically they're like, you have to have it only this way and make sure you only go to this place or it's not going to be as good as it is in Philadelphia. And it's so many people I had to correct and say, listen, we're not in Philadelphia. We're trying to look for the, my favorites, not even the best, because it's my opinion. And like you said, it's subjective, right? So just trying to look for scoops picks of what I feel is my favorites around here. And maybe that can help somebody else, and maybe it has. But to answer your question, yes, I'm very familiar with what makes it authentic. Basically, for most people, it's just a steak and cheese and either onion or without is the original way. And then some people, you got some camp that likes Cheese Whiz, and you got other camps that are, regular American cheese. And over the years, it's actually gone more into the Cooper Sharp American, which I personally think is the best cheese for a cheesesteak.
That's new to me.
Yeah, so there are some places around here that do that and use the official Cooper Sharp American, which is really good on a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah, so give us a breakdown. What was the first one you went to?
Yeah, so what I did is, so first I had asked on there for ideas, like, hey, what's your favorite places? And there was a lot of comments, and I said, I'm just going to take like the most common answers I keep seeing here, and I'm going to visit these places.
What was the criteria for each, we'll call it a review?
The criteria for me to try it out was I wanted to keep it as authentic as I can, because, again, all the people coming out of the woodworks, I didn't want them to say, well, a Philly shouldn't have all that stuff on there. So for the most part, most of them I had just onions on it, and of course cheese and whatnot. But there was, a little bit of deviation from that because I wanted to try originality as well, right? So I'll get into that as we get towards the end of this list. But the first place I tried was Dagwood's. They're here in Surfside and a little bit all over the place. Dagwood's Deli. Three locations,
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at the North Myrtle one. That was kind of an impromptu one. My wife and I went out to eat, and it was like right after I had posted that. I'm like, I may as well start now. They have a cheesesteak on there.
Does she like cheesesteaks?
She does, but I would say not as much as I do. She didn't participate in the challenge.
The look on his face, folks, was priceless. Because I understand completely what that look meant. What it really meant was, she could take it or leave it. Yeah. But you love it. Yeah, it happens in my house all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah. So Dagwood's was first. They were good, but just a little bit, generic tasting for me and prepared. But you can't go wrong with their environment. They're a good, pub and grab a drink and a sandwich. So they're pretty good, but they placed I tried 9 places, by the way. So they placed number 9.
Oh, okay. All right. What else you have on? Why don't you pick out like 2 or 3 of your favorites?
Yeah, I'll pick out a couple others. So instead of going through all of them, now another place for those that are out a little bit further away from the Grand Strand and Myrtle Beach area. This was a nice surprise. I happened to be out that way, but American Hero subs.
Yeah, I saw that on there, and I wasn't familiar with it.
Yeah, they're actually really tasty.
Where are they?
They're out in Loris.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And kind of right in the downtown Loris area. So surprisingly enough, they're a really good option.
Yeah.
They're not like the rolls prepared a little bit different. It's more like a sub, but the meat and cheese itself extremely flavorful.
Yeah.
So if I'm in the area, I would not hesitate to get them again. Yeah. They're really good. I believe they placed.
I have to tell you that, and I won't mention it, but one of the 9 that you have on there, they ticked me off so badly one time, and they were rude. And
oh, wow.
I give such a wide berth to small privately owned places.
Yeah.
I mean, you can screw up as much as you can, and I get it. It's hard. It's hard to run a business, but there is no excuse for being rude. And I don't know if that was their shtick, And if it was, that's so 1990s. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that was another piece of criteria too. Is I wanted to stay away from chains unless they're locally owned.
Right.
As well.
Which is a great thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to reward kind of the local businesses. But I hear you. Yeah. There's no excuse for bad service like that. And make it known, I also factor that in a little bit to these rankings as well. So yes, I should focus on the cheesesteak itself, but I'm kind of looking at it from the angle of, if I feel like having a cheesesteak, what's my go-to places, right? And that means I'm gonna take into account my environment there. Like, is it a good place? Is it or is it just takeout or is it a smoke-filled bar? So I'm taking all that into account as well as the experience, like mostly the taste of the actual sandwich. But I'm just saying, I'm taking into account what you just said, the service and the actual place. Another place actually right here by you, Spencer's, the owners from Pennsylvania. That's actually what I brought to us. With us today.
That so jumped out at me because I'm often in that complex there, and at first I didn't know what it was. I thought it was that 1970s store that sold blacklight posters. I think they were called. They were in every mall. Anyway, but that's cool. So it's a bar restaurant.
Yeah. So it's very bar-like, so they'll have like darts in there, and like you walk in, you're in a bar, like you are in a bar, but it's tasty. But if you don't want the bar scene there, again, that means you probably wouldn't go there to enjoy a cheesesteak. But if you but for lunch and things like that before the rush, I'm sure it's fine. But yeah, that's a great place to enjoy a cheesesteak.
Not that it has anything to do with food, but did you ever ask yourself the question, where did they come up with the idea to throw sharp objects across a room where high amounts of alcohol are consumed? Darts.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully they're using the rubber type ones, right? And not the other ones.
Anyway.
Another great place that's also a bar, but nice surprise, is Drifters. Drifters in Myrtle Beach. They're actually same thing. Owners are from Pennsylvania, and they're really good. So it was really, really nice surprise there. But really, just to kind of round this out, the top ones that I did, and I ended up doing a tie for first because I felt like I wanted to do the authentic as well as original. Like,
who are they?
Yeah, because I like originality too, right? So for authentic, I did Famous Andy's, tied for number 1. So Famous Andy's out of North Myrtle Beach. Like they're like a pizza place and takeout place, subs.
Do they somewhat specialize in Philly cheesesteak? Does it say pizza and cheesesteak?
Yeah, I think their menu outside actually says they have the best Philly cheesesteaks.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, they do have. I think the majority of their customer base knows they're good for that and gets either pizza or cheesesteaks from there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then right down the road from you here on Originality is Bruiser's Burgers. Mm-hmm. They were not open yet when we did this, or otherwise I would have gotten them. But they actually, for Originality. Fantastic. I don't know. Have you been to Bruiser's Burgers? It's right down the road.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you dine in or take out?
I dined in.
Yeah. Nice little spot there, right?
It's a cute place.
Yeah. Got the little bar there, nice inside. But anyway, their twist on it is they have some homemade truffle mayo that they make. They have some cherry red peppers on there. It gives it a little bit of spice, but not too much. And then obviously the steak and cheese and on the Amorosa roll, which is a big deal again to people in Philadelphia to make sure it's on that roll. So
Can you explain to the listeners what an Amorosa roll is?
I guess an authentic or Italian roll that all the vendors out there, a lot of street vendors and you know, Pat's and Gino's out there use in Philadelphia.
Philly,
yeah. So it's kind of like when these New York pizza places try to use the New York water filtration system and all that. So most would argue that if you want to get this right, then you got to use one of those rolls and all that. So they do use that, and theirs is really tasty. And again, it's just different than the authentic one, but I thought it was a really nice spin and nice and original.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that you know, the proper way is for it to be like lightly toasted. You don't want it to be too toasted where it's gonna, you know, be. I don't know
if that's the original way? I don't have an answer.
The lightly toasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe the original way is that the inside is supposed to be lightly toasted of the bun.
Yeah,
I believe so.
I noticed you had Sweet Girls Bakery on there.
Yeah,
as one of the 9. They're actually going to be on next week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice. Great owners there. They have great food there.
Yeah, I hope they don't chicken out.
Yeah,
I've had a slew of people chicken. All of a sudden,
really?
they're nervous to come on.
Yeah,
I don't understand that. We're just talking about food, you know.
Yeah, and unlike public speaking, there's nobody else here, so it's not.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
You're in a studio, so it's fine.
Yeah. No, they'll be here.
Just chatting with Rich.
I want you to finish that, and then I have a couple questions for you. So those two, Bruiser's Burger and the one in North Myrtle,
Famous Andy's.
Andy, are your two favorites.
Yes.
Would you say so far, or do you think you've exhausted all of the different types of known cheesesteaks in the Grand Strand?
No, there's definitely some others that I could visit and update this article later on.
Yeah.
You know, right around the time I was launching it and I already kind of made up my mind where I was going to go. After the buzzer, a whole bunch of people like, oh, you got to go here, there, and there too. I'm like, geez, I only have so much left in May to do all this.
Yeah.
So there's probably another 3 or so that I could end up checking out.
Are you familiar with the company Eater?
No.
Eater is they're pretty big, and every major city will have an Eater. There was Eater LA. I was lucky enough to be featured in there a couple of times, and they can really make or break a place. And Eater does updates all the time. All the time. They'll do something similar like what you did with the cheesesteaks. And then 6 months later, they'll have their update of the cheesesteaks.
Add a couple more.
Yeah, and add a couple more. So that's a great idea. I think that everybody listening, and even if you're not listening, you need to get Flavio Medeiros' Scoop on Myrtle newsletter. Tell the listeners about that because that is phenomenal.
Yeah. So then thank you for that. But yeah, you just go to the website, scooponmyrtle.com. And then when you get there, there is a sign up bar there. And, you know, I make sure to never miss a week. And, you know, it's some people, I get a lot of compliments that, you know, hey, this is kind of my marching orders for the week, you know, if I'm stuck. And in fact, I actually go there too. If it's like midweek and I'm trying to find something for me and my wife to do or something, I'm like, let me go there again. Where's that live music again that I highlighted?
I do the same thing. Yeah. I've actually gone back to previous episodes and I would say, I knew there was a pizzeria that I liked. What episode was that on? And I'll go look it up. So that's cool.
So I reference it, so I know others do as well. And no, it's just I'm happy to put it out. It's great. And on my end, I can see the clicks and everything, and people love reading those different like news in the area and everything. And I'm glad to do it. I think it's good that it's just good news and also events and all that. And I think for a lot of people that are newer here, kind of like I am, you know, being just 4 years here, it's always a challenge looking for new things to do, meet new people. So I think if that helps people, then that's great.
It is not strictly food. You tell people about entertainment. What else?
Yeah, entertainment going on. So, for example, as we record this coming weekend is Riverfest in Conway. So that's something that if somebody wasn't aware of, they can see on there.
What is that? Explain that.
So Riverfest in Conway is a festival that they put on and right in the downtown area there for them. And it's a really big event they do. They'll have live music. They'll have trucks. Food trucks there, and last year I know Surf Dogs was there. They're not too far from you here as well, and something like that. So if somebody's like, you know, hey, what should I do this weekend, or you know, just hits their radar as they're scrolling through the newsletter, like, oh, great, Riverfest is going on, you know, and And I'll link to the Facebook page where they can see the full details of where it is, the times, and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I think most people find that pretty helpful. And I'm always looking for new things to add. But as I mentioned, food is definitely a big part of it. So when new restaurants are opening up, I make sure to post that both on the page as well as the newsletter. If there's any other news with local restaurants as well and things like that.
Yeah. That's one-stop shopping, folks. That is the Scoop on Myrtle Beach Facebook page, and go over there and sign up for the newsletter. It just makes your life so much easier. I refer to it very, very often. And let Flavio, owner of the Scoop on Myrtle, let him know your thoughts. What you may know of restaurants that are open or events that are going on that may slip through the cracks. Let him know what's going on, and I'm sure he'll post it or write about it in his newsletter. Flavio Medeiros, owner of the Scoop on Myrtle, thank you so much for coming back to talking about food.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Rich.
So 3 guests today, and we covered a lot of restaurants. God, I love doing this. Don't forget Bohemian Bull. We started off with them. They're in Murrells Inlet. Great place. And then, of course, part of Flavio Medeiros of the Scoop on Myrtle and his journey for the best cheesesteak in the Grand Strand. He talked about Dagwoods. He talked about Sweet Girls in North Myrtle, American Hero in Loris, Spencer's in Surfside, Drifters in Myrtle Beach, Famous Andy's in North Myrtle Beach. We also hit on Surf Dogs. He talked about. It's a good place. And 45th Avenue Crab House in Myrtle Beach. I want them on the show. I want to talk to them. It's near and dear to my heart. So that's a lot of restaurants covered this week, folks. I hope one of them you'll head out to. And hey, look, there may not be any of them that you're interested in right now, but I know you folks could handle it because you are your family's private chef. Thanks for listening.